Hey everybody. So class just got out, and then I realized afterwards that I forgot to record our class today. So I'm going to go back really quick and just cover everything that we did. Um, and yeah, it always records. I have it set to automatically record. I can't believe it's happened, but it happens. So I'm just going to quickly go over everything. So portfolio and reflective essay. Upcoming deadlines. The final portfolio is due by 11:59 p.m. on May 6th. This has been pushed back because the chancellor said that we are allowed to have that little bit of extra time and make finals due at the end of the day rather than at the end of their designated slot. So you have a bit of like a half day left. With the reflection, you've seen this quote before. If you've seen last week's video, reflection helps you develop your intentions, purpose, figure out your relation to the audience, uncovers possible problems to your individual writing processes, set goals for revision, make decisions about language and style, and the list goes on. I can't believe I have to do this twice, but that's what happens. So from the book, the first step is to gather all the major assignments you completed this semester, create a creative cover page, not necessary, that complements your reflective essay, and then add next your final projects, your literacy narrative, comparative analysis, choose your own change-making genre projects. There's a reason why I didn't list that title a lot, and your reflective essay. More on that later. Into one file, a PDF, a Word document, or a Google Doc. And here's a breakdown of the parts. So if you rewrite an essay, then include your polished draft and then your revised last final draft. If you do not, then provide your rough and polished draft. So with Unit 1, rough polished drafts, 25 points, polished final draft, 25 points. I have taken off the requirement for the reflections in just Unit 1 because most of these were in paper and they're in my office on campus, which I can't access. Excuse me. However, there were two people who did not give me a reflection. Just these two people needed to give a reflection. I made note of this on their rubrics. So if you didn't see that, if you know you turn one in, you're fine. But with Unit 2 and beyond, then I start needing the reflections. That's the only changes to those portions. And don't forget to see that reflective essay, 2 pages minimum, is 50 points. So some talking points, we can go into your final reflection. This isn't everything. Feel free to include whatever you want, whatever you struggled with in general, just your thoughts from the semester, what affected your ability to do things, or just what gave you the time you needed to complete your projects. But so what are the most important things you learned through composing 2 out of the 4 projects? Which of the 4 projects have become the most meaningful to you? Why? Which project do you think is your strongest work? Which one is the weakest and why? What would you do differently if you had 2 more weeks to work on the weakest project? I would imagine it'd be sit on it for a week and a half and then do your revisions for the last few days. How have your understanding of genre and or the rhetorical situation helped you become a stronger writer? How did you, this one didn't make any sense. How did you utilize feedback from me as well as your peers to help strengthen your writing? I think that's what it's supposed to be. You type things out of a book. It can get kind of wonky. How has your understanding of persuasion affected your development as a writer, as a reader? And there are a couple additional questions on page 153 that were not included on this list. I didn't consider them too relevant, but you can look at those if you need more additional help with more ideas. So in all, you'll have the cover page, table of contents, which is optional. I'll go back and forth with this. But I'll cover shortly how to make a table of contents because it looks nice. Then you'll have your final reflection first, Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. 2 drafts and reflection. Keep your original headings with each essay. The last name and page number should appear at the top right of each page, but do not include this on the cover page. So you should be able to set different first page. So do you need a fancy design for your cover page? No, I include that in the quote, but I don't need anything elaborate. If you create something cool though, bonus points could be possible, only a few if you were considering this. How long should the final reflection be? At least 2 pages. 2. Is there a final? This is your final. Isn't there class on Monday? Class on Monday is going to be an out-of-class writing day. We're going to have an in-class writing day if we were on campus, but yeah. Do you really have to do these reflections? Yes. Oops. Yes. Yes. Let's not do these. But why? Well, I've already had an entire class devoted to this. Please refer to Dr. Chamberlain's essay, Thinking About Your Thinking Makes You Think Better. And with this, she covers metacognition. And this is thinking about your thinking, why you think what you do, how you came to draw those conclusions, what you learned that you can apply toward the future. So in this assignment, you'll look back on the work you've created this semester, you'll reflect on what's changed, you'll look toward the future. This rereading, revising, and reflecting will help your brain solidify the neural pathways you've been creating in this class. And if you need an example of this portfolio, well, there is a link in here to what I did. My cat's being stupid. Oh, she has her toy here. No wonder. I took something from my advanced creative writing course and just split it up into a bunch of sections. So here we have a cover page, just rise, reflect, or something better, your name, course, my name, the date. It could be in any order that you want, as long as it's clear. I like month, day, year. That's what I'm used to. Next up is your table of contents. And then you have your reflection to start off. This is not part of that story. I just made this and copy and pasted it to make up the marks. But then you'll see I have this heading here. This is my rough draft. So this person is okay with their grade for Unit 1. So they just have a rough and polished draft. So they don't want to have any of their grades changed. They just want to stay the same. So no edits are expected with these. So we just go on and ignore these lines. I had them in my short story, but I couldn't get rid of them. But with this next unit, this person did want to have their grade revised. So they put in their polished draft, which is the most recently submitted version of it. And then after that, they have the final draft. So this person wants me to look over this and grade it, possibly give them something better on Blackboard. So I'll go back in and change it. And then the same thing with Unit 3, they are okay with their grade. They just wanted to work on their Unit 2 essay, and everything else is the same. So that's pretty much it. How do you make a table of contents in Google Docs? I've already had a video going over this in Word, but here it's pretty similar. Highlight the title, and then you're just going to go to Format, Paragraph Styles, Heading, update Heading 1 to match. That's the important thing here. And then it will automatically apply after that. And then from there on, you just apply Heading 1. You want to update the font size and the font itself to be the same. Otherwise, it's going to give you something different, because if you did this, it would make it look like that. You don't want to do that. So after you do that with each essay, just all Heading 1, you just go in and then you can just insert a table of contents, which is down here. And you just pick the first one. And then you can do that first. You can do that after. Just be sure to refresh it. Highlight all your font, change the same font in the rest of your document, and then double space it so it's nice and spaced out and looks more fleshed out than it is. This also provides me with hyperlinks to each section. So if you have one thing that's new, I can go in and look at that while I skim over everything else, make sure it's all there. For your reflections, also make a reflection part for your table of contents. I didn't want to do that here. So yeah, so that's an example of that. And so what if you've done all of your edits on one Google Doc? Well, I did a bit of that here, but, oh, this was the new one. What you'll do is you will select, no, not this one, same thing I just had opened. You just select whatever thing you've been writing in. So video final. And then you'll just go over here to see the last edit. And then it's going to bring up your revision history. So any major revisions you've done, it will show what you've added. So if this is a version that you had before I looked over it and gave you comments, you just hit this and make a copy of it, and then you can rename it to like rough draft or polished draft, whatever you need, and then hit OK. And then you will have this older document uncovered, and then you can just submit this. So if you've been doing everything in Google Docs like you were supposed to, all of your revision history has been saved, and you just go back and select one of them. So it's not too bad. My cat's not meowing. So a few people had a list of additional questions. Since I didn't record this, those no longer there, but I feel like I addressed most of the questions. Reflections need to be there, except for Unit 1, aside from those 2 people who didn't do them. That's how you do the table of contents. That's how you uncover an old draft. And I think that about covers it. So otherwise, it's been a great semester. I look forward to your work and have a great summer. And I'm sorry that I kind of sped through this. I just did this twice in a row, but that's my own fault.